Hey everyone, it's been a while, but Jared here. Uh, had a busy past few months, not a ton of excuses for not making videos. I have a few in the chamber. One about the NBA Finals I've been working on for far too long now. I need to just get out. A few player breakdowns, but as you can see, clearly in a new room. Have some dogs behind me right now. Not mine, not mine. New setup, so expect more videos, hopefully with that background setup. But yeah, I just wanted to take a quick moment and talk about something that's been on my mind for a little bit now, which is a pretty recent event in the NBA. That being the signing of both Miles Bridges, or not both, the signings of Miles Bridges, Josh Primo, and Kevin Porter Jr., because those bothered me a lot. People kind of talk about it, but the NBA has an increasing domestic abuse problem. And even more so that the NBA has an increasing second chances problem with specifically the players who don't deserve it. And by that I mean there's been a ton of players in NBA history who have committed either a form of domestic violence, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, something in that nature that is a criminal offense, and those players receive shorter penalties than somebody like, for example, Tyreek Evans or OJ Mayo, two players recently, like past 10 years, who received a ban from the NBA for, I think it was marijuana in the case of OJ Mayo. I can't remember what it was in the case of Tyreek Evans, but doing drugs, which I'm not here to talk about the morality of doing drugs, but I think we can all agree doing drugs is, or I'd hope we all agree actually, doing drugs is morally better than any form of abuse or violence, like domestic, sexual, yada yada, that these other players have been accused of. Despite that, I'm pretty sure Miles Bridges' suspension was not a League One. I'm going to double check that right now. He received a total of a 30-game suspension from the NBA. I'm pretty sure the Hornets suspended him personally for a season, which, by the way, I do not think is a punishment fitting of the crime. I think that is far too lax. Once again, considering players get 2-year suspensions and they'll get cut for much less heinous things. But this kind of has to do with an overwhelming problem, like I said, across the NBA, which is the fact that too many teams are giving chances to these horrible people. I have it pulled up right here. Specifically, the Clippers almost signed Miles Bridges because, like, Steve Ballmer and Miles Bridges, maybe this was a conversation they had, maybe it was just something Miles Bridges picked up on, but considering the signings they made this offseason and the fact that they had so much interest in Miles Bridges gives us a lot of credibility. They're a second chance team. They're willing to give players second chances. Here's the problem. Second chances is a Kai Jones scenario. Because when people talk about this, they go, the Clippers are crazy. First of all, discourse around this is disgusting. If your first response to like domestic abuser stuff is a joke, I don't think that's ever really the proper response. If you see like a horrible person like this getting signed to a team and you go, oh, we got a jail league or something, not really funny to me. Especially because another thing that's happening a lot, people are grouping in Kai Jones with this. Kai Jones is a completely different scenario. I don't know what happened with Kai Jones on that live stream or what he was going through at the time. Regardless, it is a much different second chance he's receiving than that of Miles Bridges, Josh Primo, and Kevin Porter Jr. Those players did something that doesn't earn a second chance or doesn't deserve a second chance. Kai Jones, I don't even know if he deserved to lose his first chance for what he did. So he was definitely deserving of a second chance. He should not be lumped in with those players, and the Clippers should be ashamed to see themselves as the second chance home. You know, you should not be proud to take on this garbage or this baggage that other teams don't want, because there's a reason they don't want it. It is that they're very bad people who do very bad things. But this isn't a new problem for the NBA, unfortunately. If we look at this list, which isn't only basketball players, it doesn't give a full list. It just kind of paint a picture of how long this has been going on. Miles Bridges arrested. I'm pretty sure he pleaded not guilty or no contest. Rodion Kurucs arrested, assaulted his girlfriend. By the way, looked it up. He continued playing basketball after the season, multiple seasons. There's other athletes from other sports here. I'm not going to get into that because I have a basketball channel, but this isn't a solely NBA problem. Dennis Rodman, this was post his time in the league, but even this isn't something that like is ever really brought up among NBA fans, and like the NBA hasn't changed their approach to like marketing or pay tribute to Dennis Rodman. Rasheed Wallace, another player. Jason Kidd. A lot of people will talk about Jason Kidd, how great of a coach he was. Even I was doing that not that long ago, talking about his adjustments and whatnot. This guy is a domestic abuser. He was charged with domestic violence. He pled guilty. This is very serious stuff that people just don't really talk about, and the NBA just kind of turns a blind eye to. It's pretty sickening consistently. I mean, even if we look at Bernard King, NBA legend, who is like, it doesn't at all affect his legacy. I've even defaulted to call him an NBA legend there because these are just never brought up with these athletes. This isn't the only list of players. Darren Collison was a player that I never heard that talked about at the time. I don't remember any form of suspension. I could double check. This happened in 2016, but as far as I'm concerned, Darren Collison was played basketball through the next 3 seasons completely fine. Didn't really act like that was a real problem. Matt Barnes had the exact same thing. Ron Artest. I mean, even look at this. Greg Oden, Ty Lawson, Jared Solinger, Jordan Hill, James Johnson, DeAndre Liggins, Terrence Williams, Dante Cunningham. The list goes on and on. For years, players have been involved. Jeff Taylor. Players have been involved with this sort of stuff. The league has just kind of not acted like it happened. I mean, a notable example of this that is like kind of hard to rationalize in this box, I guess, just because it's become such a meme. It's such like a cultural like touch point for NBA fans, I guess. I don't even know if I'm using that word right. I'm just kind of throwing it off the top of my head. The Karl Malone situation is something that the NBA should have shunned Karl Malone for the rest of time. For some reason, he is still like the face of like the Jazz. He gets invited to all the NBA stuff. He was in the Jordan documentary. Or he was in the Jordan documentary. He got his own thing after the Jordan documentary. The public and the NBA should no longer associate with Karl Malone. It shouldn't even really be a debate of, oh, how are they going to approach this post-Karl Malone phase? They should be no attention to, like, Karl Malone should be shunned and should be sent away for being the evil, awful man he is. It's like, it is only treated as a joke, but these are real things he did, and these are real people who are doing these evil things. Another example, NBA fans just don't like to talk about it, the Kobe Bryant situation. It's not fun to talk about for a lot of fans. Kobe Bryant is one of the most influential players in NBA history. He's one of the greatest players in NBA history. He got so many people to fall in love with the game of basketball, and it's impossible to deny just how great and how impactful Kobe Bryant was. It's also impossible to deny that he had that case in Denver that he was put on trial for, ended up paying hush money for. That's not something you can just ignore. My favorite player forever has been Derrick Rose. I don't feel as comfortable calling Derrick Rose my favorite player because there was a ton of stuff with him around 2015. And I remember the consensus response at the time was jokes. Even if they were at Derrick Rose's expense, jokes are not what we should be doing here. Especially because nobody's ever going to talk about that again with Derrick Rose. When you talk about Derrick Rose, you're talking about how great of a story he is, how great of a vet he is, how great of a guy he is. He might be a cool guy. He also might be what he was accused of. And this is something that NBA fans need to talk about more. A recent example of a player who people are just not talking about. Kristaps Porzingis got accused of this not that long ago. And I'm pretty sure it had to be settled outside of court. Nobody ever talks about that. It's not ever addressed that this happened. Jackson Hayes, same thing. Not ever really addressed that it happened. I understand, like, I don't actually understand because these are not second chance mistakes. These are serious issues that the NBA will continue to turn a blind eye to. Kristaps Porzingis, Jackson Hayes, Rajon Rondo. These players, Matt Barnes, these players don't really see suspensions or like serious punishments when they should, and other things are punished way more. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I understand the Jonte Porter stuff was really stupid and really frustrating. If you got more upset about that than you did in the NBA allowing Miles Bridges back in the league, I think we have a disagreement here. I don't think we could see eye to eye morally, because the fact that the NBA was like, Betty, this is a problem. Yeah, it is a problem. So is this violence and this domestic turmoil and like havoc that these players are causing. These innocent women, these innocent people are being wronged and hurt, and just the NBA is very willing to turn a blind eye to it because it makes them money, and fans are just willing to turn a blind eye to it probably just because it's easier. You know, it's not fun to say, yeah, that guy Kristaps Porzingis on the Celtics, he's great, but also he's an awful person. He probably did something horrible. It's not fun to say that, but I think we need to. I think we need to put pressure on the league and let them know, I don't support Miles Bridges being allowed in the league. We need to let the Hornets know, Miles Bridges shouldn't be on the league. You're disgusting that you're paying him that much money. If you're a Hornets fan, I think you should get a free, like, hop off the ship ticket. You should not be forced to support a franchise that is willing to do that stuff. And I don't think we should support a league who's willing to do that stuff. I think the NBA really needs to address its domestic and sexual assault problem it currently happening. But I think that's going to do it for now. I do have some other NBA videos coming on, less, I guess, serious, more just basketball related, but this is something that has been bothering me ever since he was back in the league. And I think it's shameful that he's going to continue to be in the league, and that a player like Kevin Porter Jr. only really sees a year away from the league, and teams are willing to take a flyer on this guy, because these are not people you take flyers on. These are not second chance players. A second chance player is Kai Jones. A second chance player is Andrew Wiggins when he hit the Warriors. Oh my gosh, Dante Exum on the Mavericks. Those are second chance players. I don't know. Also, either one of those guys could have something about them that I'm completely unaware of, but I'm talking purely from the fact that Dante Exum, a second chance is getting another chance because you struggled the first time around, or finding another role like Andrew Wiggins did and blossoming a potential there. A second chance isn't getting put back into the league on a great contract after committing a crime that is horrific and horrible and very much is a huge stain on our league. So I think that's going to do it for now. Like I said, I'll get back to these normal videos soon, but I needed to say my piece on this. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.